In the summer of 1950, four physicists were walking to lunch at Los Alamos, joking about flying saucers. Halfway through the meal, Enrico Fermi, the man who built the first nuclear reactor, suddenly looked up and asked a question that has haunted science ever since. Where is everybody? Think about every night sky you have ever stood under. Every single one of them was silent. Not quiet, silent. There are more stars in our galaxy than seconds in 12,000 years. And in all of human history, not one of them has ever waved back. You've probably heard of the Fermi paradox. You've probably heard it explained as a fun puzzle. It isn't. Follow the logic far enough, and every possible answer says something unsettling about you, about how lucky you are, or how much danger you're in. The silence is not an absence of data. The silence is the data. Start with the numbers, because the numbers are the problem. The Milky Way holds somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars. Thanks to the Kepler mission, we now know planets aren't rare. They're the default. Most stars have them, and conservative estimates put the count of potentially habitable worlds in our galaxy alone in the hundreds of millions. Say that slowly. Hundreds of millions of worlds in this one galaxy, where water could sit liquid on the surface. And there are perhaps 2 trillion galaxies beyond it. The universe has not been stingy with real estate. Now, add time. The galaxy is over 13 billion years old. Our sun is a latecomer. Countless stars and their planets formed billions of years before Earth existed. Here's the step most people miss. A civilization only slightly older than ours, expanding at speeds we can almost engineer today, could spread across the entire galaxy in 5 to 50 million years. That sounds long. Against 13 billion years, it's a rounding error. A weekend. So the paradox is not that we haven't found aliens. The paradox is that they aren't already here. If even one civilization, anywhere, at any point, had chosen to expand, the galaxy would be full. It isn't. To feel the strangeness of that, try this. Imagine the galaxy's entire history compressed into a single year. On that calendar, the gap between a civilization arising and that civilization reaching every star in the galaxy is about a day and a half. 13 billion years of stars and planets and time. And apparently, in all of it, nobody ever took the day and a half. Something, somewhere, is stopping that from happening, and there are only a few places that something can hide. The first possibility, the silence exists because almost nothing survives the road to intelligence. Look at Earth's own history. Life appeared here fast, almost as soon as the oceans cooled. That part might be easy, but then it stalled. For roughly 2 billion years, life on Earth stayed single-celled slime. 2 billion years. That's longer than the time separating you from the first fish, the first forests, the first dinosaurs, and the first mammals combined. All of that, waiting on one event, the jump to complex cells. And it appears to have happened exactly once. One freak merger of 2 microbes, and every plant, every animal, every human descends from that single accident. Then stack the rest of the luck. A stable star, a giant moon steadying our tilt, Jupiter sweeping the sky of killer asteroids, plate tectonics recycling the atmosphere. Any one of these missing, and you're not watching this. If this answer is right, the universe may be full of oceans and slime, and almost nothing that thinks. Whole galaxies of bacteria, and no one to name them. That version of the silence is lonely. But notice what it means for you. You are the winning ticket of a lottery that has been running for 13 billion years. It's also the comforting answer. The next one isn't. Economists and physicists call it the Great Filter. Some step on the road from dead matter to galactic civilization that almost nothing gets through. Here's the logic that should keep you up tonight. If the filter is behind us, the origin of life, that one and forever cell merger, then we're through it. The hard part is over, and the stars are just waiting. But if the filter is ahead of us, then every civilization that ever reached our level hit something and didn't survive it. War, collapse, some technology that cannot be uninvented. The silence, in this version, isn't empty space. It's a graveyard, and it would be a graveyard with a pattern. Thousands of species on thousands of worlds, each one discovering fire, then chemistry, then physics. Each one feeling, as we do, that they were special, that they would be the ones to make it. Each one reaching roughly this far. And then, each time, the same quiet. And this leads to one of the strangest conclusions in modern science. Finding life elsewhere might be terrible news. The philosopher Nick Bostrom put it bluntly. Discovering even fossil microbes on Mars would prove that life starts easily, which means the filter isn't behind us. It would quietly shift the barrier forward, onto our path. Every space probe we send to look for life is, without meaning to be, an experiment on our own future. You are either standing behind the filter or in front of it, and no one alive knows which. There's a softer family of answers. The galaxy isn't empty. We're just deaf, early, or being avoided. Consider how little we've actually searched. Decades of SETI sound impressive until you scale it. Against all the stars, frequencies, and time we could search, everything humanity has examined so far amounts to roughly a single glass of water pulled from all of Earth's oceans. Finding nothing in the glass tells you almost nothing about the sea. And consider our own signal. Earth has been leaking radio into space for barely a century, and we're already going quiet as broadcasting moves to cables, satellites, and tight beams. Picture our radio bubble from outside, a sphere about 200 light-years wide, drifting in a galaxy 100,000 light-years across. On a map of the Milky Way, the size of your living room floor, everything humanity has ever said fits inside a grain of rice. Maybe every civilization is only loud for 100 years. Two flashes in the dark, millions of years apart, will never see each other. Then there's the colder option. They hear us and they say nothing. Because in a galaxy where you can't know a stranger's intentions, silence is armor. Broadcasting your location to the dark, in this view, isn't science. It's the loudest gamble a species can make. We've been shouting for a century. We just don't know what's listening. And then there's the possibility almost nobody talks about, because it sounds arrogant. Maybe nobody has answered, because nobody is there yet. Maybe we're among the first. It sounds absurd until you look at the universe's calendar. Stars will keep forming for trillions of years. One study of cosmic history concluded that when Earth formed, only about 8% of the habitable worlds the universe will ever make existed yet. The overwhelming majority of potential homes for life haven't even been built. Someone has to be first. And here's the uncomfortable part. Being first would look exactly like this. An ancient, silent sky. No signals, no visitors, no evidence. Because there's no one older than you to leave any. If that's true, then you're not living in the aftermath of the cosmic story. You're living in its opening line. One of the first minds the universe has ever produced, staring out at an empty room that won't stay empty forever. And it would mean something else, something stranger. Every civilization that ever comes to exist, the trillions of minds on worlds not yet formed, around stars not yet born, would look back on this era, our era, the way we look back on the origin of life itself, the ancient ones, the first. That could be what you are, sitting there watching this, not late to the universe, impossibly, absurdly early, Three questions sit unanswered at the bottom of all of this. Does life start easily, or was Earth a fluke? We still cannot make life from chemistry in a lab, and until we find a second, independent origin, on Mars, on Europa, anywhere, we're arguing from a sample size of 1. Every probability in the Drake equation past its first term is, honestly, a guess. Where is the filter? Behind us or ahead? Nothing in physics tells us. Every answer so far is philosophy wearing a lab coat. And why does the galaxy show no engineering? Surveys have scanned 100,000 galaxies for the heat signatures of civilizations rebuilding their stars, and found nothing obvious. Either no one ever gets that big, or getting big looks like nothing we expect. So the next time you're outside at night, understand what you're really looking at. That silence overhead is not neutral. It is trying to tell you one of 4 things: that you are astronomically lucky, that you are in danger, that you are not alone but unheard, or that you are early, and the universe is still waiting for the others to arrive. We don't know which, but every one of those answers has you in it. And if we really are among the first, then maybe the question was never, where is everybody? Maybe it's, what should the first ones do? Thanks for watching Void Unknown. The universe has secrets. We find them.